How's it going, everybody? Happy Monday, and thank you for tuning in to another Brew and Orange podcast. It's 7:46. We get started just a little bit early. It's August 17th, Monday evening. Hope everyone had a great, productive, safe, healthy Monday day of work. Hope you made it home safe, and if you worked from home, I hope you're already relaxing, hopefully enjoying yourself a nice local ice cold craft beer from wherever you are. But if you're in the Tampa Bay area, we've got plenty of options. Grab yourself something. We've got a loaded show today, tons of Florida recruiting, and of course, if you were following it, the SEC schedule just got released, which means us Gator fans, Gator players, we know who is on the schedule and when it's on the schedule. And there are some interesting things that developed at the release of the schedule, but we will get to that very, very shortly. So, of course, like we start off every Brew and Orange podcast, we have a local craft brew from a local craft brewery. Here we go. Free Dive IPA from, we got Coppertail Brewery down in Ybor City. Free Dive IPA. This is a good classic. It's one of their four pillar beers over there at Coppertail. Very industrial setting down there in Ybor. If you've ever been down to Ybor, you know what it's all about. It's a Tampa staple. Get down there, try the beers. The food menu looks great as well. I actually can't wait to get down there and try the flatbread that's on there. Later on this week, I'm going to get down there. We'll do a live beer tasting, kind of like I did last Friday, because they also have a hazy IPA that I really want to get my hands on. So I believe that we will be doing Coppertail again on Friday. So like we always do, let's put this bad boy into a cup. Let's taste it. Let's rate it. There it is, like we do every time. We got the cup. Let's give this a pour. So I will tell you, I drove all the way down to Coppertail today just to forget my wallet. And I'll tell you, I had a case of the Mondays. But it's all good. Thank goodness that these are distributed to your local Publix, because I was able to get me a Free Dive from the Publix up the road. So here we go. Refreshing, crisp. Ooh, let's give this a taste here. Again, we got Free Dive IPA from Coppertail. It is, located down on 2nd Avenue in Ybor. 5.9%. We got a citrus and pine aromas with a bright malty finish and bright maltiness and dry finish. Let's give this a shot. Cheers. Happy Monday. Everyone stay safe and healthy. Work hard this week. Here we go. Ooh. Good thing I got a 6-pack, because I will probably be having to crack open another one of those. That's light, refreshing, crisp. Man, that may be my next golf course beer right there. That's perfect. I'm going to give, I think I gave that maybe a 3.5 the last time I had it, but that was in 2016. I'm more open to it right now. That's going to be a solid 3.75. I'm going to update that in the Untapped app. Again, find me on the Untapped at Brew and Orange. And if you go to the Instagram right now, my very creative and tech-savvy wife was able to put together a link tree. I was new to that. It's got everything you need on there to just kind of navigate the Brew and Orange brand right now. You can find our latest podcast, the live streams. You can find, and which we're going to move right into right now. Check out this T-shirt, everybody. Look at that. And that's also my dog in the back. So, craft beer. This is from Beer Throne. If you didn't see my Instagram live today, I was asked to be a brand ambassador for Beer Throne last week. So I'm super excited about this brand. I was super pumped to order myself a shirt because, hey, I don't want to be someone who's telling you to go buy something, telling you to drink something if I'm not doing it myself. Just not about that life. So I got my first shirt, craft beer one more time. Awesome style. You can get it in the heather gray and black. And this particular shirt, tons of options. His and hers, T-shirts, hoodies, tanks. You can get the glassware, all your craft beer accessories. Look, don't just talk about it, be about it. Wear the craft beer shirts. You really want people to know that you live that craft beer life. Get the shirts. That's what I did. I've got another one coming already. So, you can find the link on the Instagram and my Twitter, or just go onto the website, beerthrone.com. When you check out, at checkout, type in Brew and Orange. All one word, capital B, capital O, Brew and Orange. Get your 15% off. These shirts are affordable as it is, and on top of that, we're going to give you 15% off. So there we go. Get your t-shirt, get your free dive. This thing is delicious. I don't know. If you've been outside, you know it's hot out there. This thing right here will cool you right off. All right. So let's jump right into it. So Tristan Lay, he is a 5-star offensive tackle. Any Gator fan knows the last 3 years we have been significantly slacking on the talent and depth on the O-line. Whoever's fault that is, that's up to you to make, but there is no question you need to upgrade that talent and that depth on the offensive line. Tristan Lay, he's a 5-star offensive tackle from Fairfax, Virginia. He released a top 5 not too long ago. Well, he went ahead and expanded that top 5 to a top 6, and the good guys snuck right in at number 6. So now you've got Bama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, LSU, Clemson, and with that expanded top 6, Florida has snuck their way right in. He's adamant. He wants to visit. He wants to learn more about Florida, and that's a good thing for the good guys, that's for sure. Because, like I said, we need more bodies. We need blue chippers on there. We haven't had a 5-star on the line since, unfortunately, McElwain got Ivy. I think it was like 2016, 2017. So I don't count Richard Garage as a Hevesy win. He was committed to the McElwain bunch. He just happened to stick. Is Hevesy a great developer of talent? Obviously, people like Ethan White is a prime example. The dude showed flashes towards the end of the season. He came in, he got in shape. Imagine what Hevesy and company can do if they get a 5-star guy, steps in the building, ready to just maul and push bodies around. Tristan Lay is that guy. You want to get him in. And like we talked about, every year Hevesy gets these flips. He flipped Braun. He flipped Tarquin late in the class. They were top 247 players, 4-star guys. However, Tristan Lay is a different animal. That's somebody that if Hevesy pulls in, the narrative changes on if Hevesy can not just develop these recruits, but also recruit the high-level guys that you need to. So that's going to be a recruit to watch. I recommend pulling up 247. Check out his offer list. Check out his film. He's a mauler. He's great. Hey, you can develop 3-star guys. Imagine what you can do with someone who's ready to play. So Tristan Lay is that guy. We snuck into his top 6 now. Let's hope that this dead period ends and Florida can get him on campus, because maybe that's a surprise that we're looking for, because we talked about we only have a few spots left in this class, and Tristan Lay is the guy you make room for. So let's move right on. So as we talked about, there was an article released that Florida is looking to flip some guys that they promised them, hey, when you commit somewhere else, we are going to continue to work on you. We want to make you Gators, whether it's now or later. Lawrence Seymour is a 4-star offensive lineman committed to Miami. He is still hearing from Florida on a regular basis. He's from Miami Central, and we're pressuring him. We want to make him a Gator, and who knows? That seems right up Hevesy's alley. That one matched Braun. That one matched Tarquin. Man, we still 2 offensive linemen in a row from Miami. But, hey, I got to give credit where credit's due, even though I'm sure Miami had nothing to do with it. Hey, our highest-ranked offensive lineman recruit from last year, Isaiah Walker, he transferred from Florida to leave for Miami before even touching the field at Florida. I don't think Florida had anything to do with that. I think under these circumstances that we're currently dealing with, he may have felt some pressure to go back home. Hey, young kid, we respect his decision, but that's just one less body in the depth. Out there competing, pushing the other guys. You've got to get some other bodies in there, some blue chippers, the guys who are going to push. Iron sharpens iron. You need to get these guys in there who can play and come and compete right now. So Lawrence Seymour, 4-star offensive lineman from Miami. He's someone Florida's going to continue to work on. So there were some unreliable sources, it seemed like, on Twitter last week saying Trevante Rucker was going to decommit. I hounded the Twitter. I hounded the boards. Nowhere was that being talked about except for this one person. You can't believe everything you read on the internet. Trevante Rucker went ahead and did a SI interview, and he's solid with the Gators. He's not going anywhere. His quote was, "We're going to get championships. That's how I see it." You got to love that confidence coming in. He's a state of Florida prospect, top 247 guy, 4-star wide receiver. he's somebody you want in this class because you can already tell he is ready to compete. He's ready to win championships, and that's who you want. So he does not sound like he's decommitting right now. He's from Vanguard. He's also the high school teammate of Bryce Langston. And we all know Florida is hot on the trail for Bryce Langston. They would love to have him in this class. And let's hope that Trevante Rucker being solid, maybe that helps us with Bryce Langston down the road. So that's something to keep an eye on. Trevante Rucker, he's solid, 4-star wide receiver. He's committed to this class. He's committed to coming in and winning championships. Next, Cole Kubelik. Now, I'm butchering names left and right, but if you've watched any sort of SEC football, SEC programming, you've heard the name. He's well respected. He came out with something now that, hey, you and I are going to really, really enjoy it. We're going to like it, but I'm sure some other teams that were on this list or some other fan bases may be wondering what he was putting in that morning coffee, but hey, I'm not going to question him. He put out his power rankings for the upcoming season, and there's always the same old suspects, the prime suspects you expect to see in that top 5. Florida's usually there. However, he had Bama number 1, and he had the good guys, the Florida Gators, at number 2. We were above Georgia and LSU. Now, one big takeaway, and we're going to get to this when we get to the schedule. One big takeaway from his thing is he has Kentucky at number 5, above your Auburns, above your Texas A&Ms. There's a lot of people who think Kentucky is a great team this year on paper, that this is their most talented team they've had in some time. So he had Florida number 2. I don't know if there's something in the air, but whatever Kool-Aid Florida's putting out there, the people are drinking it. This team on paper looks great. As long as Florida doesn't have any major injuries or major opt-outs, which we will also cover here shortly, this team looks good. This team looks ready to compete, especially with the schedule that was put out on paper today. So, Cole Kubelik, we appreciate that love, and hopefully Florida proves you right, and we take down that number 1 Bama, because Florida's sitting at number 2 in his power rankings. So, let's go ahead and move right into the SEC schedule. We're going to spend a little bit of time there. Earlier this afternoon, they went ahead and released Game 1. Florida is at Ole Miss, the first game of the season. I think they said this is one of the first times in a decade Florida is opening up on the road at Ole Miss. You don't see that very often. All I know is, man, I was at that game with Will Greer where we were straight worked Ole Miss. What a game. What an environment. I can only hope that I could be in the swamp one day and enjoying another game the way that game was back with Ole Miss. Florida had got all the way one of McElwain's fluky SEC East championships, but hey, we'll take it. But hey, Florida at Ole Miss to start the season. We're going to jump right into the rest of the schedule right now. After Ole Miss, South Carolina comes to the swamp. So you got Florida at Ole Miss, South Carolina comes to the swamp then. And then one of our new opponents, you got Florida travels to Texas A&M for the third game of the season. After Texas A&M, we've got LSU coming to the swamp. So Ole Miss, South Carolina, Texas A&M, LSU. That's 4 games in, and typically, these SEC schedules can be very, very rough. To me, on paper right there, that's not a string of games that worries me. That's a string of games Florida should start the season off 4-0. Yeah, sure. You got to travel to Texas A&M, but as it stands, there won't be fans in the stadium. Takes a lot of home field advantage right out right there. So, and you get LSU in the swamp. Anytime you can get LSU, these cross-division rivalry games to happen in the swamp, fans or not, that's huge. Florida should benefit from these first 4 games right here. And after LSU, you've got Missouri. Missouri gives us trouble all the time, but hey, that's 2 home games in a row for Florida, LSU, and Missouri. That should be 5-0 right there on paper. Going right along what Cole Kubelik said, man, Florida should win out right there, those 5 games. Now, here's where things get interesting. Usually we know it's my wedding weekend. It's Halloween weekend. Florida typically plays Georgia on Halloween weekend. Well, that's going to be a bye week for Florida and Georgia. November 7th is where Florida's going to play Georgia. Now, why that is interesting is because the Jaguars are set to host the Texans the next day at TIAA Bank Stadium. So, I'm assuming maybe they don't expect a huge cleanup, no fans in the stadium, but that field is going to have to be turned around overnight. So again, November 7th is Florida versus Georgia, scheduled for Jacksonville, one day before the Jags are supposed to host the game the following day. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But either way, we're looking at a 5-0 going into Florida, Georgia. You've already played, just two SEC East teams right there. That's going to make or break your season, because after that, Florida really should go on a run to end the season. So you've got Florida, Georgia, November 7th. After that is our second added opponent, Arkansas. Arkansas comes to Florida. Then we are at Vanderbilt. And then you've got Kentucky at Florida. And then to end the season, this is very interesting to me as well, Florida finishes the season on the road at the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee finished the season strong last year, so you've got to think Florida's going to be up for that game. Dan Mullen he is a great game planner. He gets the team motivated and ready to go. You better believe Tennessee is going to be ready for that game. They finished the season strong last year. They're going to hope to start it strong this year. And boy, they would love nothing more than to ruin a Florida streak. Florida could have one. I see Florida having no losses right here. I don't want to be some Florida homer. But look, what we have on paper compared to what some of these teams on the schedule have lost. I'm looking at you, LSU, looking at you, Georgia. You're replacing coordinators. You're replacing quarterbacks, Heisman winner quarterbacks. LSU just had another defensive player today opt out. They are looking at starting 8 new faces on defense. Sure, they have recruited well, but like we've all seen, you can't make up for this lost time that unfortunately COVID has impacted how these teams are training and how they're developing and planning for the season. I think that sort of stuff, even though Mullen today on his press conference he denied this kind of advantage, Florida is a more veteran team. These players have played together. There was no overlap of these coaches that were leaving and new people coming in. Florida should be undefeated going into that last game against Tennessee. You don't let up for a Florida-Tennessee game. That rivalry is like our Kentucky. It is always close. Well, maybe not last year. Hey, Kentucky plays us close. Tennessee plays us close half the time. You've got to finish the season strong, and you know Tennessee would love nothing more than to ruin Florida possibly looking at a college football playoff berth or the SEC championship, that kind of thing. So what I talked about in my blog today, remember, go to brewandorange.com. You can see my blogs I write. I mentioned that typically in these SEC schedules, you get these runs of 2, 3, 4 games where it's a tough and you're hoping to go 2-1, 3-1, or split these games. I think it was last year. We had like the Auburn, LSU, Georgias. All these were back to back to back. That's not the case this year. Even though we got added 2 extra opponents, it's a 10-game all-SEC schedule. This schedule is as manageable as possible. Don't listen to what Herb Street said earlier. Herb Street said that we added LSU. That's not the case. We always play LSU. We added Texas A&M and Arkansas. This schedule, the way it is set up, sure, you're going to have some trap games. You're looking at Missouri right before the bye week, before Georgia. That's a trap game right there. You're looking at Kentucky before finishing the season. And if you're undefeated, we know what Kentucky can do to you. But am I worried about Kentucky? I'm not worried about Kentucky. We brought Kyle Traskin off the bench, down by 16 points. We came back and we won that game last season. We should walk over Kentucky this year, and especially there in the swamp. We don't want to keep that one close. You want to finish the season strong. So for what it's worth, Herb Street did pick Bama and Georgia, but hey, what else is new? So it's time for Florida to step up, prove these people wrong who are always picking the same 2 teams. Bama looks susceptible. And I'll tell you what, Georgia has a tough schedule. They got Auburn, LSU, Alabama almost back-to-back-to-back. There may be a bye week snuck in there to break that up. Georgia's going to drop some games this year. I don't know if it's going to be your South Carolina snoozing nooner game the way they did last year. Georgia's going to drop some games. They are going to be susceptible to a loss just like LSU. So we ain't listening to Herb Street. Herb Street is whack. He needs to read some more. That's an easy pick. That's a cop-out. Do something unique. Be like Cole Kubelek. Pick Kentucky to be the dark horse like he did. I'll take that. That's something for debate, something to talk about. Don't take the easy road out and pick Georgia, Alabama. Everyone does. Like picking Alabama, Clemson for a national championship. No one wants to see that. So Let's move on to another recruit that we talked about. It's Damari Alston, running back from the 2022 class. I've mentioned him a couple more times, and man, he keeps popping up in the boards. He keeps talking Florida football. He wants to be a Gator, but the guy's got over 40 offers right now. He's only a 3-star right now, but you look at the offer list, you look at his size and his speed. That offer list is not a 3-star guy. Okay, so he is something to look. He's a recruit to watch right now. He has not visited, but he is adamant about wanting to get on the campus, do the virtual visit if the dead period is extended. He's looking at schools like Oregon, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia Tech is a hometown school, really pressuring him right now. As we all know, Georgia Tech did land Jamar Gibbs, I think he was 2 years ago, someone Florida was heavily after. These Georgia kids are wanting to stay close to home. However, that may be someone that Florida can go ahead and get. So that's someone to keep an eye on. As we talked about, they are handing out offers to these running backs in the 2022 class like candy. We haven't landed one going on 2 cycles. It is imperative we get some more depth and some quality depth at that running back position. So Damari Alston, that's someone to keep an eye on right now. He is continuing to build that relationship with Dan Mullen. Greg Knox, I know Florida fans hate to hear that he is involved in any sort of recruiting. Maybe we can get Brewster to switch over there. So next thing, we're cruising. I'm going to grab me another sip right here. Fall camp officially started today. The Gators were on the field. There's some clips on the 247, some clips on the Florida Gators football Twitter. It's good to see the blue and orange back on the field. It's just good to see Kyle Trask and Embry Jones out there slinging it. They really look good, but we already knew that. It's just a matter of sharpening those skills and getting this team chemistry back together. Let's talk about that for a second. Because as it goes, Dan Mullen had his first live presser of the season today. He went on Zoom live. Shout out to David Waters of Gators Breakdown. He did live stream. He live streamed that Dan Mullen press conference. I got to tell you, Dan Mullen seemed extra honored today. I don't know if it's because he has the mask that he's got to wear every time, or if it's hot out there, or who knows what's going on. But man, was he honored? Was he short? He did mention that the team was a little sloppy, but what can you expect for day one practice? That's just how it is. He said some players did not practice today. Justin, let's go ahead and get into that. As we know, it did come out from sources that there were 4 pretty big name guys who did not practice today. That was Zach Carter, Jacob Copeland, Kadarius Toney, and Grimes. Yeah, those are some heavy names right there. People that the Gators, the coaches, the teammates, they are counting on having huge impacts this season. Without those 3 wide receivers that we talked about, Copeland, Toney, and Grimes, the depth significantly and the talent significantly falls off. My dog's going to be over here squeaking this toy here in a minute. So 4 players didn't play right now. Mullen did not name that. He keeps that kind of stuff close to the vest. He really wants these players to take ownership of that. And if you look at the Twitter right now, Toney, Grimes, they're not hinting at it, so you never know who to believe. Grimes said, don't believe everything you read. However, it was confirmed that he wasn't at practice. We don't know the reason for why. However, one person we did hear 100% who plans on possibly opting out, and there are the fingers crossed, Bob Redmond of 247 said he thinks that players like Zach Carter and Jacob Copeland could, in fact, who have now said they're going to opt out, come back in, or opt in, so to speak. And that's what you want. That's what you're hoping to hear. However, Grimes, I was telling Justin before we started this, Grimes has a sick mother. That was why he transferred from Ohio State down here. So we can't really question or judge a player, a young man like that who wants to keep his mother safe. Totally understandable. But fingers crossed that maybe Florida figures out a way to convince these kids that they are safe under their watch. Come and play with your teammates, and hopefully we get them on the field because, like I said, the depth at wide receiver afterwards is nothing but Rick Wells, who I swear has been on the team for 5 years. He is a grinder. He works hard. Very little production. I think he has 200 yards in the 4 years that he has been at Florida, receiving yards. That would be your most productive wide receiver on the field if Copeland, Grimes, and Toney are not on the field come the game versus Ole Miss. After that, it is redshirt sophomores and it is true freshmen. Like we talked about, we have some blue chippers wide receiver, but it is you need more Xavion Hendersons. You need more people like Jaquavian Frazier's. That's another guy who is a big name, but they have very little production. Trent Whitmore is another name that people are talking about. Hey, they show out on the practice field, but they don't have a lot of reps. And guys like that, they benefit from having Grimes and Tony and Copeland, guys who have been on the field. They've battled with other SEC programs. Iron sharpens iron. You need those players on the field. So let's just hope that they can convince these players to come out and play. But like we said, in this unprecedented times, it's hard to judge these players for making these decisions. Mullen did mention something interesting. He said the SEC commissioner did cut their team activities from 20 hours almost in half, and then they pushed it back up to 20. This happened in the course of a day. Mullen did not expand on this, but he did say that was something that happened, and you could tell he was unhappy with that decision. He is making it very known that he believes the players are safer at Florida. They are safer under their watch with their players, with the medical staff. And he is very adamant about that. He feels that there is a loss of time that you cannot make up for when you lose almost an entire training camp. So it is something that Mullen's worried about, but if we know Mullen, he's going to push these guys. He's going to have them ready for Ole Miss when the season starts. I got here. It was his classic vagueness, shortness. Like I said, that's just typical Mullen. We're just going to have to see where the season goes or just how this offseason goes right now. They're on the field. That we can at least be happy in knowing they've got the helmets on. They've got the pads. They're out there slinging. They're pushing. Hey, the offensive line, they're looking buff. The defense is looking buff. Marco Wilson, everyone came in looking in shape, but it's a matter of getting these guys the reps that they have missed because, like Mullen said, they missed an entire training camp essentially. Up to this time, you would have already had a summer, and you would have already been almost to your spring. They just started practice 1 now, should have been practice 13 or 14 up in a normal offseason. So we did have Tampa Sports Roundup. Justin's not here to do this with us, but he will be here. I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I want to save these for Friday so we can really have the in-depth conversations. Hopefully you watch the Lightning. Go Bolts. They pulled off the win 2-1 today to take a 3-1 lead in the series. It's a noon game on Wednesday. Watch it, support, and let's hope the Lightning can close this game out right now. No overtime games. We don't need that. Columbus is finally looking like they're getting a little tired right now. And the goalie, we finally exposed them and put some goals in the back of the net. I think they actually outshot the Lightning for the first time in the series. We out-hit them. We controlled the puck more. But you got to close this out. You keep the foot on the neck. Let's go. Let's keep it on. Let's just go ahead and move on with this and get into round 2. Get some rest while we're at it. Wednesday at noon. Game 5, let's end it right there. I know Justin and I were game 6, game 7, but I will gladly be wrong on that prediction if the Lightning can close this out on Wednesday. Questionable decisions, though. A little preview for Friday. There we go. All right. So, also the Rays, this goes without saying. They're 9-1 in the last 10 games. Lau is continuing to stroke 4 home runs in 6 games, leading the major league in extra base hits. He's leading the team in average, home runs, and RBIs. They're about to finish up this 10-game road trip with 3 at the Yankees starting tomorrow. So, Yankees are beat up right now. This is a perfect opportunity for the Rays to finish what would look like, on paper, a brutal road trip with Boston, Toronto, and the Yankees. You finish this one strong. Look, you're looking at a possible 12-1. Since that Saturday against the Yankees where the Rays have just been on a tear now. So, and also just to shout out USF, they had their first scrimmage at Raymond James Stadium on Saturday. Man, they had the helmets, the pad, they were clanging and banging, they were out there. So that is awesome to see Jeff Scott getting this team working hard, ready to go. It's just good to see football on Raymond James Stadium, on that field. We're going to have the Bucks coming up soon. The Bucks were in pads today. We're going to leave that for Friday. We heard what Arian was saying about Gronk being in shape and stuff like that. We've seen the pictures. He's in great different ball game down here. I've been here my whole life. I'm still not used to it. I can't imagine what it would be like to play up in that low humidity climate up in New England, be down here in this brutal noon to 2 o'clock time frame where it's brutal out there. The rain's coming, the humidity's rising, and you're out there just putting in work. But if we know one thing, Brady's going to push these guys. Brady and Gronk are no strangers to working hard, and they're going to get the rest of the team around them to do it. Hey, if one of the worst things that Arian can say is that it's pretty hot out there for Gronk right now, that we're going to take that. Let's see, it's why they had their worst. Hey, you ain't freaking kidding, man. You were not kidding. For Miami to be able to hang with the Patriots each and every time, it was no coincidence that they did not play well down in Miami. So, hey, that does it again for us, man. Episode 7, Brew and Orange podcast. I want to give one more shout out. Go grab yourself the craft beer shirt from beerthrone.com. Any of the social media sites, Twitter, Instagram, you can find the link to go ahead and get your 15% off, or at checkout, put Brew and Orange. Make sure you're checking us out because it's just it's a great site, great for craft beer lovers. They're donating proceeds to charities. Hey, don't talk about it, be about it. Get a craft beer shirt, drink your local craft beers, because that's what we do here at Brew and Orange. We're going to have another podcast Wednesday. I'll shoot out another blog Wednesday morning. Friday, we're going to have Justin, the Tampa sports guy, come on. We're going to have a lot to talk about. We're going to have more Rays. We're going to have the results of the Lightning. A little bit on Wednesday. Like I said, we're not going to get too much into it until Friday. And who knows? Maybe there's a commitment ready to come for the Gators. Maybe out of the 2022 class. Maybe out of the 2021 class. We don't know. But if it happens, I promise I'll be there. We'll talk about it. We're going to have another Coppertail Brewery beer coming up on Wednesday or Friday. But either way, we're going to drink good craft brews. We're going to talk Gator college football news and Tampa sports news. Everybody have a safe, have a productive, a good week. Work hard, wear your mask, stay safe. Just keep yourself and your loved ones safe and healthy. Come back and see us Wednesday. Check out the Instagram, the Twitter, brewandorange.com, which reminds me, we've got a special debut coming on Friday is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hope to have something big time on Friday. Maybe the logo's coming out. Maybe the website is going to be under construction and we're going to unveil this new stuff. Check in back with us Friday because you will not be disappointed. Brew and Orange is only going up from here, and we want you to be a part of it. So cheers. Go Gators. Go Bolts. Go Rays. Go Bucks. Just everything Tampa. Drink the local brews. Support your local sports teams. And we're going to see you Wednesday. Everyone have a good Monday night.